Okay, here's a quick video for activating the sound system. There's the soundboard, the computer. So we're going to remove the cover. And on the soundboard we see a flashing green light in the upper right hand corner. To turn the soundboard on, we simply tap it quick. And you'll see that the soundboard is now booting up. And after tapping the power button on the soundboard, we're going to move over to the wall switch, which turns on the rest of the system. And we flip the switch up, the red light comes on, and that means that the entire sound system is booting up. And here we can see the soundboard is continuing with its boot process. It does take a minute and a half for it to come up. It's not super speedy. And there we go. We now have the soundboard fully turned on. Wall switch is on. All is good. Now to use the soundboard, it'll be basically ready to go. In this case, there are some extra mics turned on that don't need to be turned on. We're just going to turn those off by tapping on the on button here. So that turns off all of the open mics. And to turn on the mics that we may want to actually use, we come over here, and we don't have the band present, we don't have the choir present today, so we may want to just activate the pastor's mics, in which case we would come here and hit the on button for Pastor Lanny and for Lewis. Or if we just want to use the pulpit mic, we can hit the on button for the pulpit mic. The only other settings to be aware of probably are that the faders are near the 0 on the board. It's important that the faders for the pulpit mic do not go above 0. It can be lower if you have someone that speaks loudly, but we don't want to have it above 0 because you will get feedback. And usually people in the sound room have a hard time hearing the feedback that's occurring out in the room, out in the sanctuary. So it's just important not to take that above 0. For the pastors, generally between 5 and 0 is where we want those to be set, and they'll be plenty loud. We, again, don't want those to go above 0. So again, if we want the pulpit mic turned off, we turn the pulpit mic off. To turn on Pastor Lanny, hit the on button. Pastor Lanny is now on. So that covers everything on the soundboard side of it. The wireless mics for Pastor Lanny and Lewis are located on this table, and Pastor Lanny's, and there's Lewis's. And then if batteries need to be switched out, hopefully we have a supply of batteries, which we do. We have some batteries here, and the batteries in these can be switched out. We also, in the bottom tray, have a battery tester, which is fairly straightforward. There's a button right here. You can see that button. If you push that button, green light comes on, and you can extract this little dealy bopper here on the side and hold the battery up to it. I'm not going to do it because I only have one hand and I can't do it one-handed. And you can test the batteries that are already in there in one of the wireless packs. This is wrapped up here to open up. Let me get this unwrapped here. Let's see. I'll have to to do some editing on this video. Okay, so you can see on each side of the wireless pack, there's a place, little button area, and you have to push that in, push those two buttons in to release the cover. And then the cover will release and open up, and you can see where the batteries are stored. You can note the battery orientation, which side the plus side goes on, which side the negative goes on, and they'll typically be opposite each other if you have two batteries. And to turn the wireless pack on the top, that's going to turn it on. There we go. And again, the wireless packs can be muted by simply tapping the on button. So right now this mic is muted, and I tap it again and it's hot, it's on. So that's how the wireless packs work. There's nothing else you really have to do with these other than make sure you have the earpiece properly on your ear and the mouthpiece near your mouth. And so let's see. Let's say we're done now with our whatever we've been doing that we needed the soundboard on for. We look at it, we see that in this case we've already turned off any mics that may have been used, and it's a matter now of simply turning off the soundboard using the power button. The power off is a little different than the power on. To power off the soundboard, we press and hold this button until it starts flashing. When it starts flashing, we let go and tap it again. Just a tap, and that turns it off. You can see it's completely off. Then we come over to the wall and we push down on the switch. That turns the rest of the equipment off. And that's a quick overview on how to use the soundboard. The final step, of course, is to cover up our very expensive soundboard so that we minimize the amount of dust that it's going to acquire. And again, when the pastors are done using the wireless mics, we should make sure we get them placed back in here. It's not necessary to coil up the cords, but we want to make sure they're in their neat. It is easier for the pastors if they're probably coiled up a little bit here. Now, the other thing is make sure that the transmitter, the wireless transmitter here, is powered off, and to do that, press it and hold it, and it powers off. Okay? Same process for both wireless. All right, we'll call that good.